But I can confirm today that we intend to return to the meaningful vote debate in the week commencing 7th of January and hold the vote the following week.
The only way you're going to get on and deliver Brexit is what's called a no-deal Brexit. And then at the end of March next year, we'll be out of the EU, we will have left. There was no question that I remember on the referendum about a deal or not. It was leave or remain. And the way you leave is to come out on the 29th of March.
Do you think that MPs have changed their minds over the Christmas break? Because that was clearly what Number 10 was hoping.
Well, if there's been any change, it's hardened the attitude of MPs towards what's called a no deal, because the more and more information about the no deal, it's clear that it's absolutely OK to do it. We had the Secretary of State there just saying there's no problem on the health front. We had a senior civil servant come out and say, we're well prepared for a no deal. And of course, the government isn't saying that because they're trying to get through their so-called Brexit deal.
No, we won't be supporting our deal. We have told her we will not support our deal, but we have said to her, look, here are some things you should be going and talking to the EU about, and if they're prepared to move on these, then that would remove the obstacles which we see.
Significant tariffs when none exist now, friction and checks at the border when none exist now, and requirements to reroute or pay more for transport when current arrangements are frictionless will all add to costs for producers. We're developing plans to help support the industry in a variety of contingencies. But nobody can be blithe or blasé about the real impact on food producers in this country of leaving without a deal.
Where Theresa May's Brexit deal sits today.
Well, the only way she could get it through Parliament is by locking the doors behind me and not letting the members of Parliament in. Because the arithmetic is completely stacked against her. Her allies in the north of Ireland, the Democratic Unionists, that's the pro-British 10 MPs, are irrevocably, I think, against it, and at least 50 and maybe 100 of her own MPs, even those that, as I told you the other day, she has now knighted and damed, if that's a word, are still going to vote against it. The only conceivable bit of wriggle room I inject here is if enough of Tony Blair's supporters on the Labour side of the House are prepared to break from Labour, leave the Labour Party and effectively join her in a national government. That's the only way that she could get it through. And as at the time of speaking now, that doesn't look likely, but it is still a possibility. So she loses on sometime between the 14th and the 21st, and there's precious little time left to avoid what she calls a no-deal Brexit, what I call a WTO terms Brexit, which I personally strongly favour. Apart from anything else, it will save us the best part of $50 billion in a divorce payment.
If the deal is not voted on as this vote that's coming up, then actually we're going to be in uncharted territory.
When you first sent the letter triggering Article 50, you said to the EU that you wanted and expected that by now we would have a comprehensive agreement on the relationship going forward, the trade agreement. That hasn't happened. That's been a failure, hasn't it?
No. The legal constraints, the EU can't sign a legal trade agreement with us until we're outside the European Union.
With respect, it's more than that. It's very, very vague and very, very waffly. It is, in Jeremy Corbyn's words, a blind Brexit.
No, it is not. What we have in the political declaration, which sets out, is a set of instructions, effectively, to the negotiators in the next stage. And it is more comprehensive, it's more ambitious, it's an unprecedented degree of relationship. And people focus on trade, but also on security, which is hugely important to us. It's about protecting jobs and security of people here in the UK.
And as I explained, President Juncker himself is, of course, always available to listen to Prime Minister May's views with regards to the temporary nature of the backstop. I would refer you, or I'm very happy to read word by word paragraph 4 of the European Council Article 50 conclusions of 13th of December, where it says very clearly the European Council also underlines that if the backstops were nevertheless to be triggered, it would apply temporarily, unless unless and until it is superseded by a subsequent agreement that ensures that the hard border is avoided. So this is where we are at this stage at the moment.